Conducted in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertisement in the Cape May Star and Wave and on the Township website and posted on the bulletin board at Township Hall.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad. Here. Councilmember Neville.
Here.
Councilmember Simonson.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Clark.
Here.
Mayor Beck.
Here. Move down to the consent agenda. Council comments and questions on the consent agenda. I'd like to make a motion that we remove, what's the number I'm looking at? 2013-299. I feel that the town needs to do a little bit more look-see at that before we bring it out here. So, if somebody would make that.
I move.
There's a second.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Conrad.
Yes.
Councilmember Neville.
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Mayor Beck.
Yes.
It's removed.
Okay. Is there any other council comments or questions on the consent agenda? Okay, I'll move to open up the public comment on the consent agenda. Close the public portion.
Approval of minutes, November 18th, 2013. Resolutions number 2013-295 through 2013-298 and 2013-300 through 2013-311.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion. Second.
Councilmember Conrad.
Yes.
Councilmember Neville.
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Mayor Beck.
Yes. Move down to administrative reports. Anybody on council have any questions or comments on the administrative reports? We'll go to council comments. Councilman Conrad.
Real quick, a friend of mine brought to attention two spout-offs to me, which kind of got me upset. Two people watched one council meeting and complained that we weren't doing anything about taxes, the budget, flooding, roads, drugs, and no jobs. At the same time, they said we were all just dealing with fluff. I'm sorry, sometimes council looks at the glass half full, but we do recognize it's half empty, and we're trying to work on this. Taxes, we're trying to do our best to keep them down. And if you look at throughout the state, we're doing a pretty good job because we're number 16th lowest average property tax in this state. We're the third lowest in the county. We're trying to maintain that or better our position, but we're still trying to maintain all services to the people. We've been working on this budget officially since we passed the last one, but for the past few years. Flooding, I'm sorry the person didn't catch the one that all the meetings that we had about flooding. We brought FEMA in, that we've tried to do everything we can in various areas, and we had a discussion, 2 meetings ago, Frank, about the north end of the Villas and Fishing Creek and what we could do about that. Just because we don't talk about something at every meeting doesn't mean we're not working on it. And the FEMA thing, we're trying to protect all of our residents because it is going to affect everybody that has to have flood insurance or possibly will now have to get flood insurance. And that's a scary thing. The drugs, we were one of the first councils to actually address the drug problem. We're trying different ideas. We're not just going, we'll send the police after the people and hopefully everything goes away. We've had multiple meetings, the mayor and I have been to multiple places to talk about this with experts to find out what other type of cures there are or how we can intervene to help alleviate. We're also using code enforcement. We're trying new ideas. People complaining about the job, no jobs in this area, and at the same time complaining about the Economic Council. I'm sorry, okay, not everyone's going to agree with everything what the Economic Council says, but guess what? They're trying. Everybody wants jobs down here. We're looking at the Cape May Brewery that grew quickly. What can we do to get more jobs like that? No, we're not getting Boeing in here. We're not getting some major industry to come down here. But we're trying to get some jobs for our people. What do we have to do? This is important stuff. Everyone wants to say, yes, it's all fluff. What we talk about, council, is on the agenda. But there's a lot going on in the back, and sometimes there's other meetings where people get up from the public. If you have questions, contact your council person, or come to a meeting and ask all council. There's a lot of good things happening in this township. Yes, we want them recognized. But there's other things we are trying to fix, and some of them we are waiting for engineering reports concerning flooding. Sorry. Now, as to the villas, real quick, the contacted Public Works. They're a couple days behind on the leaf pickup. They started the west side of the villas today. They're about 3 days back. So they'll be on the east side hopefully next week for any leaf pickup. Other than that,
Good job.
Good job. All right, I got two things. One, I'm not going to beat the FEMA horse because I mean too many of those meetings. But the leaf pickup, I know I've expressed some frustration because there's a schedule, there's zone 1, there's zone 2, Tom knows where they're at. And I asked the manager if he could free up any overtime so that they could go back into Town Bank and Cape May Beach, and there's none there. Is there any way that you can take my salary for December and put it into Public Works so that the next 2 Saturdays, 2 guys, especially maybe younger family guys that could use the money for holidays, come around and suck leaves in the zone 1 that's already been done?
Well, I think it's honorable you say that. However, I'm not going to go there. But I am going to look at the budget and see if we can accommodate a couple guys to do a little overtime. We're real tight. You know, I put a spending freeze in effect so we can stay within our budget. And but I will look. I have a meeting Friday to talk about some finances, and we'll see if we can shake a little money loose to do some overtime.
But that offer is serious.
Thank you.
Steve?
We don't have money to pay a few extra people to do overtime. I wasn't aware of that. I don't read spout off, so I don't have anything to say about that. I know that the manager had put a letter out to the county regarding road safety on Seashore Road south of the Canal Bridge. I guess we'll be following up on that as well. I'd also like to see something done in Douglas Park over in Ward 2. There's no speed limit signs, and I ride that every day. There's in excess of vehicles in excess of doing 50 and 60 miles an hour down that road.
in the park?
In the park, yeah, between Lincoln and the canal. So that's just something that we can meet with also. But other than that, just to remind, we have a couple concerts coming up in our school district. This Thursday, the 5th, is the Lower Cape May Regional Winter Concert for the band and choir. And next week, the 12th, is Titleman's Winter Concert. Both will be held at the PAC Center at the high school. And I know there's a lot of other announcements I'm sure the mayor will make with tree lightings and parades and such, so I will pass that on. And that's all for me.
Eric, if I may, waiting to hear back from the Dale Foster, county engineer, upon your request on the bike safety south of the canal. And I want to compliment you on a great job. The Star and Wave, if you didn't see it, Mayor, on his educational program he has, it says E for Eric, how he's engaging with the young people with music and comic books. And take the opportunity to read that article. It's really good.
Will do.
Good job, Eric. Thanks.
Mayor, I think folks are probably tired of hearing me talk about the Fishing Creek School. We've been talking about it for quite a while, but we did pass a bid tonight, which is really a turning point in the life of that school. I was thinking we were going to bring the architect and show you all the beautiful things that are going to get done for that, but I thought it'd be wiser and better just to wait and see it be done, and then give everybody a good tour. But what I do want to say at this time is just a word about the people that have been behind it. The Fishing Creek School is special because it's brought out some of the best in our community. It's brought out some of the best in our people. People like John Louderback, who has for several years now had a little plastic bucket in his
Geises Market saying, let's save our school, collecting dollars so that we can get that thing repainted and the windows fixed. People like Janet Pitts, whose whole family threw themselves into the outhouse, literally, behind the school, and sought to fix that up. My neighbor, Ed Butler, who has drawn plans that he has still yet to see realized for a gazebo. Ed, we asked to have a gazebo there. I know you drew pictures of what it could look like, but the Historic Commission, in all their wisdom, has said no to a gazebo at this time. We're going to hold those plans in case they change their mind. I see Judy in the back. Judy, you work for Public Works. I can't tell you how many times you've called to say, listen, the squirrels are getting into the garage, and we got to do something about that. I want to thank, I have my list here, Gregory Harrison over at Sturdy Savings, Jeffrey Harrison, I should say, over at Sturdy Savings, who every single year has gotten that bank to put $500 into that school. Win Evoy, who's just passed on to glory, is one of the last things he did was to look after the school and make that one of his projects. Annie Salvatore, who donated money for the flag, who got the sign painted, and has made sure that little treasure looks like the little treasure that it should be. Colleen Crippen, who does the grants, who has figured out how to work all of this into the grant system, and was dedicated to not letting that garage be torn down. As much as some of us wanted to tear down that garage, but figured out a way to make the grant extend to the garage so that now we have a place so that Judy can store the tables and chairs for all the events that we're going to have for years to come. The Jonases at Domino's Pizza, who year after year donate their pizza in order to help us raise money. Lou and Laurie Thomas, who have built the steps in front of the building and have gotten the history behind the school. Ella Fox Elliott, who lived up the street, 94 years old, walked up to one of our first open houses and said, I went to school here, and did a wonderful video of what life was like. I'll never forget it when she said there was no bullying when I went to school here. And of course our manager, who has made sure that anytime anything is needed, Mike has made sure that it was there. All of this was started, the mayor brought out the best in all of us by saying, why don't we do something about it rather than letting it just sit there. But it's going to take its place now. The Millman Center is now at one end of town. It's going to have the big weddings. I see the Fishing Creek School is going to be having the little weddings, okay? And art exhibits for young people coming out of our high schools that bringing new art. We can have exhibits there, crafts, as well as educational programs that we're going to be doing with the elementary school. So this is turning the page in the history of the Fishing Creek School. It's now going to become a slightly different building with a wing and an ADA compliant bathroom and all the fixings. So I look forward to seeing that develop over the course of the year and taking that little school into a whole new phase of its life. Thank you.
Very good, Norris. I was hoping it would become the mayor's mansion down there, but then I heard Janet had taken over the outhouse, so forget that.
I rule.
Well done. And I appreciate what I had heard about that, one of those spout-offs, and it's 1,000 of them. After the first 1,000 that your name's in, you kind of disregard them. But what people don't understand is that there's probably not a day that we don't have a discussion and reach out to other agencies for help about the flooding, the beach replenishment, the V zones, the FEMA maps. They are front and center. I was up in Trenton what day was that? Tuesday? Tuesday for hours on end with the state, with Bill Galestock and I rode up there. And sat through a program where HUD money's coming in, and it's a long shot that it would come, but it's something that we win. Do we announce it? Well, no. I mean, I'm bringing it up because Tom's point's well taken. There's a lot that goes on, and a lot of these programs that we look for and search and try and apply them to our township for some reason or other don't fit. It doesn't mean we're not going to continue. We're trying to arrange a meeting and bring DEP down here to meet with Middle Township and ourselves, an in-house meeting with all their officials, all our officials. You know, there's a beach replenishment program which would be the help to answer both Middle Township and Lower Township's response to the FEMA maps. If we could put a berm along the bayside, and somewhere in the process of last March, where we were under the impression that that was just a matter of time, it went from a beach replenishment, a shoreline protection project, and turned into back into an environmental protect the horseshoe, which there's no funding for, kind of a project. So we fight that fight almost on a daily basis to try and see what we can do. But you know, we were put at the back of the line for a lot of these things, and for a lot of reasons which we haven't had the correct response, and we're searching for those answers. But you know, suffice it to say that every one of these issues, I mean, you can't imagine what we're spending. Like, you take all the issues we're involved now with Cape May City, and now you toss in FEMA. How many people have we had to hire, you know, to fight these battles? And there's your leaf pickup. Do you think that there's a relationship there? Well, there is. When you're hiring a point attorney like Frank Campbell, he doesn't come for free. When you're hiring a Terry Crowley to do the analysis, when you're hiring, what's the guy's name that's the statistician? Win something or other. We have so many, I'm losing track of it. And now we're hiring experts to fight the FEMA maps. Well, there's your leaf pickup. I mean, when you go back a year ago, did we anticipate that these things would be on the table in front of us? Absolutely not. We didn't budget for those things. Those things come out of the blue on us, and we have to fight those fights. And they're not cheaply fought. So, you know, you're robbing from one account inside of the township to pay for these things because they are necessary fights. You know, I want one of those government-free days, like we have a dump-free day up at the county where you can go up and dump for free, and we send all our stuff up. I want one day where we can, like, the government suspends red tape, and we can line the trucks up and bring all the sand we want over, and just, they'll wake up the next day and the beaches will be replenished, game, set, match. But it doesn't work that way. It doesn't. I mean, common sense tells you take dredge spoils. And I mean, you pick the bucket up here, and, you know, wouldn't it be great if you could just move the bucket a couple hundred yards and put it on the beach to block the impending doom from a hurricane? No, you can't. You've got to truck it out. You've got to do this. It's got to be tested. It's got to, well, don't take the bucket out of the water. Just slide it over a little bit is my answer. But they don't seem to agree with me. So we fight that fight also. Anyway, Tom's point is well taken. All right, here we go. Announcements. Tomorrow night, Tuesday, December 3rd, tree lighting veteran ceremony starts at 7 p.m. at the Rec Center, then concludes at Township Hall for the lighting of the tree. Friday, December 6th, hospitality night in Lower Township, 5 to 8 o'clock. That's here and at the Rec Center, correct there, Miss Julie? That's hospitality night in Lower Township. Okay, Saturday, December 14th, Christmas parade kicks off 7 o'clock. Bay Shore and Breakwater Road. December 14th, parade, 7 o'clock. Okay, and we still have the December 14th is also the beef and beer to help our neighbors, Evelyn and Jim McCarty at the VFW. It's over here at Delaware Parkway and Bay Shore Road. Hope to see you there. I'll be going from the parade right there to the beef and beer. And at the next meeting, we hope to salute those people that were, and agencies that were involved in helping these people. That's, okay, you have that December 16th. We'll be honoring them. December 21st is Ferry Merry Christmas at the DRBA, 11 to 2. December 21st, Ferry Murray. And December 31st, which is a Tuesday, annual family New Year's Eve party at the Rec Center. That's a fabulous event. We got another one? Oh yeah, the winter warm-up at the airport. I think, did we send out something today, Jack, on that? Jack did a press release on that. That's Friday, December 13th, a winter warm-up at the airport from 4 to 8. Santa will be there from 4 to 6. And it's the businesses at the airport, which we seem to be increasing in number and in their focus in wanting to be part of the township and the community. So that would be nice if people went over there and saw what's in the airport and saw some of the businesses there. Okay. Okay, so then we go to please help the less fortunate by donating the following. We have Toys for Tots. The collection bins are located at the rec center and Township Hall. Food donations, collection bin located in Town Hall for non-perishable items. And socks for seniors, our good friend Chris South will have a collection box at Town Hall. That's socks for seniors. Is that it, ladies? Miss 97, that was her test score, I have to say. And what was that test you took? Karen scored a 97 on advanced testing today, so she gets a round of applause. Yeah. Speech. Goes with a speech. Okay, we'll open up the public comment. Feel free to come forward. Yes, sir.
Good evening, the council and ladies and the audience. What I'd like to do, I'm just going to walk around because I know that camera.
No, come on.
Yes, I'm going to do this because I talked to you as mayor, I talked to the township manager,
Okay.
and I think the public should have the same courtesy as anybody else when they're up here speaking. Whatever your reasons are, that's fine. But I do believe that we should have the same courtesy.
We've had this discussion.
Okay, so with that said, what I also would like to say is also, I thank you for the way you presented yourself tonight, and my councilman from District 1 too, because you haven't addressed the budget. You brought it up tonight.
Budget.
Working on it. I'll let you talk in a minute. Excuse me, I don't want to be that way with it, but and also with as far as our assessment goes, I brought this up at the last meeting, and when I brought it up, I think maybe it sort of stuck a little bit and came into you start thinking about it because there's other avenues that's always fine. It's nice for presentation, but you got to take care of the taxpayer. That's the only revenue that you have. That's the only thing that keeps this township going. Is the taxes. And if it keeps going up and up and up, and as you talked about budget tonight, there's got to be cuts in certain areas. You don't want to do it. You guys are elected to do it, and it has to be done, even though it might hurt different areas. But you can't keep getting the money from, we have no other source of income here. It's strictly your taxpayers. And that's who's out here now, and that's who actually pays for this thing, pays for everything. So I just want to bring that up, and what I heard tonight was a little different venue than it has been normally. And I hope you continue with that. But I'd like to know a little bit more about the tax assessment and all. Where does that stand? Can anybody answer that?
Well, that's completed. Then when they mail out the cards that you use, you get in January, I guess they come out.
Yes, the
The
green
card,
cards.
the green card that basically tells you what your assessment is and what you paid the prior year in taxes. Your new assessment will be on there.
But somewhere along the line, you have to know right now between when it was finished and what the figure was before, and the, say 24 million, whatever it was.
Well, you'll have time to appeal.
All right. The appeals are still going on.
Well, no, what I'm saying is once you get the assessment,
Yes.
you'll be able to appeal that.
Oh, yes, that's starting January to
Right.
June, that kind
Right,
of situation.
you got that.
But, you know, if there's a much big change for the township as far as your budget goes, because it's got to be based on your ratables.
Well, no, you know, you go through this again, and I mean, it's the same all the way around. The township needs a certain amount of money.
Definitely.
Okay, now, whether or not if we get, say, 3 pennies on $2 or 2 pennies on $3, it still comes out the same amount of money that we need.
And it comes.
So if in other words, your assessment went down, your tax rate could conceivably go up, but that doesn't mean you'd pay more money, okay? It's just because your assessment's gone down. And it's, you know, we go through this all the time. I'd have to sit and explain it to you, but the point of it is that some people will see their taxes go up as a result of this. More likely than not, and you can't commit to this, but more likely than not, people who've already done a tax appeal, they've had their assessment lowered already. The rest of us who did not appeal, which is probably the majority of the township, will probably see theirs stabilized or perhaps a small reduction. But the point of it is that you have to wait, and we're not going to send cards out now. It would cost us $10,000, $15,000 to
No,
send
that's
out.
your normal time in January. I
Yes, that's
understand
when
that.
it's going to come out.
Right. But the other part of it is, I understand the tax appeal knows the situation, because in 2007, we put in a lower township taxpayer association and taught a lot of people how to go about it. But the whole thing comes down to is the ratables and what you're going to receive and what you have to put out. You still got the same expenses or higher expenses, like you just propounded a little while ago about different things happening for attorneys and stuff like this and all that. But when that occurs, there's got to be budget cuts somewhere else. You got to keep it in
Well,
line.
you know, not for anything. We can go through this, and we do it every year. And the bottom line is we have less employees than we began. And what you want to look at is not so much the tax ratables and the rate of it. You want to look at the spending side. And that's where you want to sit back and say, okay, there's a huge increase in spending, and where is that coming from? And that, you have to wait. There's no preliminaries on that. I have no idea what the impact of all the mess with healthcare is going to have on the healthcare that we are mandated by contract to supply. So when we get those bills, you'll know about them.
Well, you probably got most of them, because I'm sure the township manager and the CFO has been involved with this, and you're coming into December, which by January you'll be on your budget unless you extend it and go into a lower time. But you have some type of idea right now, just what your status quo is with your budget and with the expenditures.
Well, as I said earlier, Mr. Butler, the council, number one, is very frugal, and they're on me all the time to make sure we keep things lean and cut where we can. However, we have to provide public safety, we have to provide sanitation, keep this town clean. Listen to me out. The unexpected things the mayor talked about, and we're fighting the fight for the taxpayer.
Right.
The council's putting the money up for these attorneys that were unexpected to fight this issue with Cape May City. The FEMA issues, the fight for you and the other taxpayers that are along the V zones, they were unexpected. That's why as manager, I'm managing as directed by council and put a spending freeze on where all the buckets of money that were left in the different departments are now going into the bucket so we can finish this year out and pay all our bills. So all these unexpected things, Mr. Butler, we're not like Washington where we can just make more money. We have to live within a budget, and that's my job.
We are sort of like Washington because it comes out of the taxpayers, because like I said before, in this township, in Lower Township, you have no other income except for your ratables.
You're right.
And that's what it's like.
And we'll stay within the budget.
Trying to say to you, make sure that instead of 2.9 last year, that we keep it at a very minimum. All your extras coming in, something else has to give, and you have to make some cuts. And hopefully our council will be doing that and making these cuts. Again, thank you for the answers, and I like the way things came a little tonight, a little different than it has been before, and keep that up as far as the budget and stuff like that, and try to help your taxpayers. Thank you.
Anybody else wish to address council? Close the public portion.
Resolution number 2013-312. A resolution providing for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. This is to discuss personnel issues, manager, and solicitor.
Okay. Motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Neville?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes.